What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you today?
Doing all right. Just wishing things could be a little faster across the board.
We'll get you a bigger bullwhip. How about that?
Oh.
Well, we just keep working on what we can accomplish, and hopefully things will fall into place. We're a little more, um, what do you call it? Definitive that we need to make sure we know what we need in order to start with, in order to get the right people involved. Specifics about the structure that we've developed and how it can be implemented, specifics about what we want to develop on top of what we have here with the OS ticket. And I sent you a ticket because you are in the system. So you are in the system already, and your profile is there. If you can check for a confirmation email in your email box, it may be from Great Works Alliance or Coalition for Protection. I forget. Is it through Coalition for Protection Help Desk?
Yeah, I've got two of them here. I've got two from your support. So I've got the ticket open and a ticket assigned.
Can you raise your volume a little bit? We didn't hear that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know where the microphone is or really how to... Can you hear okay now or what?
Yeah, we're doing good. I like your Christmas tree in the background.
Playing tricks with me, man.
It is fall, you know.
Right?
Are you calling from Alice in Wonderland? Off on the other side of the rabbit hole? Where
maybe. Well, it's curing right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Good.
So what were you asking of me? I'm sorry. I got the email. I got the ticket. So what do you want me to do with this?
Can you log in?
Log in.
Is it? All right, forgot my password.
And you would be logging in as an agent, so you wouldn't be doing the guest login. It'll take you to a screen with a blue neural network over a brain or a skull.
Yeah, I got that. I just forgot my login credentials.
Uh-oh. Well, don't log in too many times because it will freeze up. So if you've forgotten your login, I can fix that right now.
Yeah, it says unable to reset password. Contact your administrator. I tried doing password recovery.
All right, so let me go to agent panel. Agents. Brandon.
And then so back to what you were talking about with logistics. I'm trying to pull up a logistical roster I put together.
I have sent you a reset password. It should be an email. It will come from OS Ticket.
Might take a few minutes.
I'm going to make a little ball. See, I'm making wreaths right now. This is my first Halloween wreath that I made. And I'm working on
putting I like the color. In it.
Huh? Like the
I
color?
like the color.
Everybody else does orange. I want the purple ones.
All right, so you were talking about wanting to assess logistical roles and what's needed to actually implement stuff. Is that what you first said?
Yes. And so right now it's mainly in the management team department that we're talking, because this is about managing what tools we have and being able to find and implement other tools that are going to improve the quality of the experience for the user.
Well, I just talked to your friend Brandon Z, and I really like him. I like what they're working on.
Yeah.
And I guess they have a meeting Sunday, but I believe that, you know, my understanding is your website and what you're developing could help recruit those people. And I saw that you were doing you know, I did the assessment form. And so I'm curious, like when I do start talking with you guys, if during this process we can start plugging these people into these roles
Yeah.
for my operations, and then maybe these operations could support what you're doing, or we could cross train somehow in this process.
So what I want to do here is, this is how we have it laid out right now for the teams. We have created many different teams that are focusing in different areas, whether they're advocacy or development or education. And it is then in these teams that different missions specific to the team will be posted when the request comes in through that ticket system.
Okay, and then, you know, how are you guys applying? Who's applying the task conditions and standards for all of this? Is it the individuals that's connecting the are when these tickets are created, who's setting the task conditions and standards for these tickets? You know, is there some sort of oversight that you have?
Yeah.
Yes, that is one of the benefits of this ticket system, is that you can track a ticket from once it's initiated to when it's accepted, like an individual or a team accepts a mission, and then through that system. So I sent you an email to reset your password, and then I created a ticket so that you can see how this process works. Have you gotten an email yet for that?
I did.
Okay.
Cool.
It's a bit old school and a little funky on its layout. We haven't played around too much with its layout. Just been looking forward to the next stage. But it's got fine-grained permissions, so whoever's leading can manage who's going to see what within the team, and only like a public setting is going to be available across teams to view.
Okay, is this something that, all right, so I see all these tasks. Are you guys able to create, oh, I see a dashboard too,
Mm-hmm.
but do these tickets go to the dashboard?
The tickets go, yes, because if you look at the top of the dashboard, there will be a section for my tickets. So it'll be dashboard, my tickets. And here, I'll show you what mine looks like. Mine is a little bit more developed than yours, but this is pretty much because I gave you expanded permissions, expanded access. So you see up here under the logo, there's the dashboard, the settings, manage, emails, and agents. Which of those do you have as tabs in yours?
Well, I don't know. I can't find my screen anymore.
Here, I'll stop the share. There you go.
I have dashboard, and all I have is agent directory and my profile, users, task, ticket, and knowledge base.
So it should be
So you see the
under one of
difference.
those tabs. You should have my tickets. Now, I'm not quite sure which tab it is.
Got it.
You found it?
You have one. You have a test ticket.
That's what, yes. So it should.
So go ahead and create another ticket in response so you can see kind of like the flow and get a little bit of the feel for it.
I'm gonna unshare. I'm not, or stop sharing.
And all I do is post the internal note, and that's the new ticket.
Basically.
You can do the response or you can post the internal note. The internal note is going to be specifically between us, and it's an internal note. There should be a response section as well.
Okay, so I guess I'm kind of retarded today. What
okay.
is, so when we do these tickets, what is the ticket? Is it just a work order that's put out into the universe saying, hey, we need help, or hey, this is what's going on?
Yes. And there are many different options. When you create a ticket, it'll give you options as to what department you want to go under. Right now we have it set so that Forrest is the admin, so he gets all of the ticket information, and then I have my authorities through the OS system. We want to be able to expand this, of course, but again, we're looking at the bigger picture here. So when you were talking with Brandon, did he tell you about what his plans are on his site?
Yeah, yes, briefly. And I didn't get into enough detail with them because we're going to talk, I think, tomorrow evening.
Okay, so
I've been dealing with it, and I know the frustration, but I'll tell you, the people that we need to work with and are going to work with us will show up at the right time.
Right.
There's other people trying to do what, let them fail, let them succeed.
The hope here is to have all of these different components and different entities have a commons, an internet commons.
Have you checked
hub.
out?
Huh?
Have you checked out Freeworlder yet?
Freeworlder?
Yes.
No.
Well, if you could check out freeworlder.com real quick.
Sure.
I think it's something that we could use to help with this, and I don't know if it's still active or not. He just sold it since it's free, but he sold it. What the fuck is that?
It's gone.
It is gone. We have been working with Jordan and some others who are working on their end on developing 3D animation
Yeah, click on that one.
Facebook?
Yeah.
As well as mapping and putting together the identification on a map.
That's
for
what
the different
this
sectors.
Is. But I don't understand. He's changed it. I guess it's called ShareBay. But his old site they had a map to where you could list your needs or you could list your offerings in a transparent way so people could see within the region what it looks like. This, I don't know why this website is what it is right now. Apparently he did sell it, but there's another one that I'd like you to look at called Needs List, and it's NEEDSLIST .com. Yeah,
.co.
there. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
And so these guys, I talked with them and worked with them. So they kind of branched off from what I was talking about when I submitted papers to the United Nations. But they've got the money to fucking do this. And now they're charging 40 grand per person or per organization to use this software. So I thought
Wow.
if we had this software and it was grassroots developed and we owned and operated it, we could take, you know, our needs and our resources and map them real time on the software like Freeworlder, which would allow people in a region to see what's happening.
Right.
Right.
That's definitely a part of the map that we want to see happen. Did you see the badges that have been created for the UN sustainability goals from our side?
From yes, I did see these.
Not these ones. The You have to go to the site to see them.
And did you connect with Miranda? She's really flaky and has a hard time following through, but she's very connected with all these people from.
And I just no, that was Cassandra. Oh yes, we've connected on occasion with Miranda, and and we'll, so you can go to SoulSpark. And then keep going down.
Just waiting for it to load.
So then click on this one right down
Yeah.
here.
So these are the same ones listed on the UN site, just modified.
And what we
Yeah,
want to do,
I'm
huh?
extremely familiar with these, and
Right.
I've sent the UN a document and several funding requests saying that I can meet all of these needs, and I don't get any fucking response,
No,
except
and we're
for
not
seeing
sending
millionaires come
people to
in.
the United Nations. What we're saying here is that um, we recognize these sustainable goals and want to provide the platform and ability for providing those solutions, whether they are sustainable or regenerative or whatever you want to call them, you know, that we as people can get this done. And part of that has to do with recognizing what businesses are actually upholding sustainable practices and regenerative practices within their business structure. And the way this has been laid out is to, you just stop the share, to offer people the opportunity to say recommend a organization or a company or a business and identify which of those goals that business is specifically focused on or utilizing.
Are you very familiar with business and government contracts and such?
To a degree.
To a degree.
Well, so for what you guys are talking about, you know, one, the SDG goals are everything that a public benefit corporation has to be in order to be registered as a benefit corporation.
Mhm.
And then
It's all good, man. We all have those days.
Yeah.
I have
So
them frequently.
the, the grassroots development of a community-based organization would fund this and would allow what you guys are trying to do, three different funding approaches. One, you could do donations, one, you could do investment, and then the other one would be the bank, the community bank, like shares, stocks, peace bonds, things of those natures. And
So,
what it does is, what I'd like to offer you is like overview of how critical thinkers works. And so we're equal owned, equal operated, equal say, right? So if it's not consensus based and it doesn't work for everybody in the organization, we don't move forward on that individual issue or topic. All of the all of the different groups inside of our organization are groups focused on meeting our basic human needs and our quality of life. And we have 6 groups. And Brandon Z also has a similar setup on his platform as what he's trying to try. But essentially, without the software and without the network set up, we can't operate our business together with the various organizations in order to start tracking what we're doing and where we're going. So all these things that you guys are starting to do now is the start point to make that happen. And so
Right.
the initial people that we need to get on board are people who can design the software and people who can design a blockchain currency or some sort of rating system on how well people are performing within our network given the information they're using.
and Nathan has been doing a lot of research into this. There's open source badging, which is a uh, internationally recognized badging system available for education and other purposes, both between K to 12 and then adult education. They offer services to encrypt badges an organization or education entity wants to provide their students and affiliates.
So how do we marry all these things together? That's what I'm after, like I know the stuff that you're talking about right now is pertinent. I know that Kansas City has a thing called the Community Toolbox, which is pertinent. And I know we got crypto chains. So how do we bring and merge these people together?
Yeah. Netliffy seems to be the optimal compromise. We've got WordPress to work with too. We've got a husband and wife team coming on board soon. That the husband works on the back end. He does security deployments for a lot of medical facilities, and she's worked on the front end. She's really experienced with WordPress, and she's done coding programs for kids.
And she's also created badges of her own, which we can use as well. Some of them are medical, I believe, and skills based, and so forth.
Yeah, have you seen that intro video that has been shared on Lyra's page on Facebook for Planned Systems?
I don't think so.
Oh, you're gonna want to look at that. They're doing a distributed social system aiming towards an alternative to GitHub, like in a sense. So you can store all your repos over there, but it's also heavily involved with Unity, the Unity gaming engine. They're working in the 3D space.
I don't know about that yet. I just work on bikes, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of research and homework, and open to all kinds of input and build up and tear down how we can get it more improved. but it's looking like Netlify and WordPress on the front end for the web side that we're all used to on the internet, you know, and then that works through a streamlined core of GraphQL. They've worked really hard over the past 7 years or so on integrating different types of libraries and repos and languages to help simplify.
Are they doing hyperledgers? This GraphQL?
GraphQL, there's a lot of people over there that are working with Hyperledger and all types of crypto type stuff. Yeah.
Well, here's what I think. I want to focus on setting up investment conference for next year, September 9th through 11th. And I think we can use the gamification process and invite all the core key personnel for funding streams and implementation, and allow everybody to put together in a 72-hour window a fundable packet for investment purposes to build out all of these things for quantitative study. And I think it's really important that we register. You know, you guys are talking about the SDG. I think it's really important that we register this project as a human study under the Rourke Peace Pact. That way we can gain international recognition and support.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
Do you know what that is?
The human study. I'm not 100%, but I'm open to the concept, and you know, it's like I've been studying humans all my life.
That's one of the reasons, and that you already know, of why we started where we did with positive psychology and superhero archetypes.
Well, I've got a cognitive optimization study that's supported by technology, so we can take the human bias out of it. Wow. And utilize artificial intelligence and refine the way that we meet our basic human needs and increase our individual wellness while decreasing our operational costs and conflict in our environment. And so that's one thing I think is very pertinent to all this, because with the way things are going politically and economically right now, if we did this, I feel like we could garner the whole support from the whole planet overnight.
That is right. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at as far as making this a slam dunk. And
the primary key that we've been looking to focus on has been the organizational side, which, like, when we've got all this research organized and properly categorized and quantified, of course, it helps supply the bulk of the information necessary to create these different packages to submit for, like, hey, we need a funding project for this. We need to put some sort of project together in this area. It already will provide a lot of that foundation of the hows and whys, along with all the numbers and the graphs and gauges and everything to summarize.
One of the things that came to mind when you were talking about how we have all these projects that we want to be able to get the funding for, and you have to have let's see, where is that? So like a specific focus, right? Because funding is set aside for each different section. So there's funding for Artists Without Borders or starving artists. There's funding for rehousing in rural development. grants that are available. And then there's all kinds of funding out there, but it's specific to a specific goal or focus. And so I'm if you give me a minute, I'm gonna pull up a proposal that I drafted up at the beginning of this year. I'm looking for. What are you doing? What are you doing? Where'd it go?
So what we came up with after doing all the different research, jumping down a bunch of different rabbit holes, it seems to be the common thread that we don't really see is like we see a lot of disjointed stuff where projects or donations or whatever kind of outreach is really disjointed, right? There's not a whole lot of consolidation going on.
Well, that's why I developed Critical Thinkers in the first place.
Right.
And, this community-based organizational model is to serve as a template for other people to improve upon. The software and the autonomous servers allow us to be able to see what improvements are being made and share those instantly unilaterally. That way we don't have to come in and tell you how to change your policies. You can just see when you stop doing B and C, D and E becomes more profitable.
Right. Focusing on the impact.
Yes. Yeah. And then so, can you just send me a link of this? Can you put me on that document?
Yes, I will. So I'm going to do that right now. And so this is just an example proposal, and it could be for anything. But what I did it for was at risk and in transitional housing artists and musicians, right? And being able to include the other aspects that we're going after.
Well, I really believe that we should start with an application. I sent you 2 papers, 2 documents. I think I sent them to you before, but I'd like that to be your proposal, because once we have an application or a software where we can optimize and effectively and efficiently align resources between individuals and organizations, these things can be quantified through the system, and these people that that deal with hyperledgers, they're extremely important, because when it comes to crunching numbers and managing data, those hyperledgers increase our capacity to unify the language, so to speak, so that we can process things through an algorithm. And then once all that shit's done, we can have it displayed real time for everybody to see, and they can make the decisions on their own instead of having to vote for somebody to tell you to do the wrong fucking thing.
Right?
Right.
Okay, so that was this one. So this one is called 3 Objectives of 2030.
You got to share your screen again.
I will. Give me a moment. I'm putting your email address to that share document, and then I've also given you our email address for the 2 documents you sharing, so that you can add us to those documents. This is the document that I'm talking about with the homeless and in transition individuals. Now this we can even develop more now, because we are connected with the founder and manager administrator of Indra's studio. Is that what
Indra's
it's called?
Warehouse.
Indra's Warehouse in Texas. And this is a similar model to what they're doing down there.
When we wrote this up, it was before we even met them.
So what's going on with this physical interface portal? Because I'm really interested in this software supporting an informational kiosk. So anybody that's passing
Right.
through the area, they have fucking
Got it
access.
already.
Huh?
Yeah, you already got the concept. Yeah, have like an iPad or something there on site on a physical location where, like, we were even talking with a local store that's part of a national chain for merchandise, and they're like, oh yeah, this would really help the mall over here. It would do a lot of stuff. And then after the lockdown, like 3 months later,
They were gone.
they had to leave. They couldn't sustain it. They got families and everything. But we're getting the same response from most people that are in business, have something going on. When I was down in Texas, I hooked up with someone over at the water utility company, and they're like, hey, that would be great. If you've got something set up, let's talk. If you don't, give me a call when you do. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'll talk with my wife. She'd handled the back end. It was a very small town. It was a husband and wife team as the water utility company. And they were more than happy to go, okay, we'll do like a test drive, and then we like it, things get smoothed out, we'll go ahead and get the whole town involved.
Well, I tell you what, I want to meet these people, and I want to meet these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to help. I want to help lay this out because they were talking about defunding police departments for a while, and what are you going to do with that money? How are you going to be proactive with taking care of things if the community can't see what the fuck's going on in real time, right? So I really want to see us focus on software, because once Great Works Alliance or Critical Thinkers has some sort of application, we can share the same software and protect the data and the information, but still use it and correlate data pools to increase our ability to take care of ourselves.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
But I just need somebody to create the program.
Do you know anybody do you have any connections with anybody doing free virtual hosting? Like free hosting for VM.
Freevideoconference.call.
No, it's just a virtual manager. That's what VM stands for.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about it.
One of the things that you mentioned when we first started this collaborative conversation was whether or not we were willing to relocate. And at that time, we had said we are not ready to relocate. At this time, we are looking to relocate and, basically go wherever the best. We want to be able to use what we have in collaboration with others on a constant basis. Like I wake up in the morning, I'm looking at my list of things to do for the day. I check off one, I say, okay, next, and it's like the more people that we have working together in a centralized location, the quicker this is going to manifest the way that we all envision it, I believe. So if you have any leads and know anywhere like in your area, or we're just trying to get a centralized hub set up to better utilize our time and energy.
I can ask around. Stuff is really starting to skyrocket here because a lot of people are moving to Crestone. We just had an organization. I was trying to buy this property, not a Carmelite heritage place, but anyways, they just bought this property, and that's not going to help you. So I'm not going to ramble about that. There's 80 acres outside of town that I want to buy to put this community on. So this goal is to build out 150 housing units to support a learning healing center, which serves as a living memorial, right? And everything that we do in this community is about optimizing our wellness and our ability to thrive together through a mutual understanding,
Yes.
right? So my goal is to create a community so awesome that everybody in the world wants to come see how we're operating and eat our
Right.
food and be around our happy people, right? So, I mean, as far as I've been wanting to do it with military, but I've been thinking I should really just open it up to anybody that has the aptitude or the commitment, because it needs to happen now. And if we go over the numbers on how affordable it is and how profitable it is, I'm sure we can get investors. But I need to make sure that, like you guys are talking about, how do we fill the logistical roles needed to do all the paperwork and to implement the infrastructure? What does it look like to monitor and sustain it, et cetera, et cetera? So, uh, I mean, I'm open to get you guys out here. I think you should talk to Miranda. I don't really, I mean, she's kind of flaky, but, she's trying to do the same stuff
Hmm.
that we're all trying to do. And there's plenty of property here. It's just getting it funded and open to the public so that they can fill the roles. I haven't gotten that far yet.
I want to share something with you regarding that funding that we have put together. Let me see. Where did that go? There. This is our financial plan. You know, you were just talking about the different funding pathways.
Right.
And now that we're involved with Indra's warehouse, we're looking at getting our merchandising set up. But our financial plan, we have basically recognize these sectors for funding that are available, whether or not we're a nonprofit or a cooperative.
Keep going down. What's your ceiling?
Our ceiling, $15 million. So
Cool.
this goes into how much it's going to cost for our different sectors that we're looking at. The projected brick and mortar location being a big chunk, but it will pay off because it's where we can establish all of our tests and make things see how it works, right? Like what you're talking about. So this is that vision of having a location where we can test this out, try it out, and then be able to share our uh, results with the public. And
Well, let's do it.
I can add this to I can add you to this as well, this document. If there's anything you see that might be missing that you want to include, let's do it. Exactly. Let's do it. Because I mean, now is the time. You are absolutely correct. Now is the time. And if we wait any longer, then we're gonna miss the boat. Damn it. I don't want to miss the boat.
So I want to do a grassroots funding, and I don't really know how to break it down really quick, but essentially I want to do 3D printed housing,
Yes.
and I want that 3D printer to be owned by the community. So after we do our build, we can lease out our 3D printer to another community, and it'll continue to pay us. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
there
the
are a
biggest,
couple of there are a couple of 3D houses or examples. One is in New Zealand, I think, of where they use lime and hemp as their base for the houses. And
it works
I
better
mean,
than concrete because it doesn't
Yeah.
set up inside the system the way that concrete does.
Yeah.
and it has protection from UV radiation and so forth. And the foundation, of course, would have to be like concrete, but the structure itself is rigid enough. The one that I had in mind was just specifically using hemp resin and creating Lego blocks, basically. that you could construct your house with, so that it could be constructed on one property and then shipped out to another property locally.
Well, so here in the San Luis Valley, I've been working with a lot of the growers, and hemp is really starting to take off.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is for our company to own the processing plant so that
Mm-hmm.
we can create these materials to use, right? So
Right.
I just want to crowdfund and crowdsource a project to house these people, to include you, myself, whoever is going to support the overall picture. I just saw your breakdown. You were, with legal fees, advertisement, all that stuff. What is it projected to make after you invest? Is there a rate of return that you're projected? Are your people getting paid to participate? How does this money go out? What does it
So
look
this,
like for an individual to contribute, and etc.
Right.
so the way that this is set up is that it's not an investment for people who are looking to make a profit. It's an investment in humanity. It's an investment in community. And the payout is that there's multiple payouts. So if you're a sponsor, for example, of Great Works Alliance, and you're providing funding for an event or something, your payout is that you get featured as an ad, in an ad, or in the event you would have like your logo and information for your organization would be present there as a sponsor. And then that's why I had the breakdown that I showed. But if you go through it, it'll show that people get their investment back. It's not specifically set up by shares at this point. We can talk about that. It would have to do with whether or not the governance of the organization becomes affected by the influx of memberships.
There's a lot of different ways and layers it can be done. We haven't focused on ROI yet, though it's not excluded. One of the areas that we were looking at investments, or the profit margin, was open on the community side for like the software. But for any large organization, whether it's governmental or a for profit, you hit a certain number of employees and profit margin, your freebie card goes away. And in addition to that, if a user is not a contributor, they're just limited as a user. So they're going to need to pay. But anybody that is a contributor and below a certain number of people and investment um, profits gets the freebie.
The other part of this is for those who are members of the board, there are payouts at the end of each year. They can equal no greater than $100,000 per board member. And it's agreed upon by all board members. The board members are part of the foundation. They are able to have a voting presence within the organization. And let's see what
And which
else.
organization is this? This is Great Works Alliance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many people are in your organization currently?
So we have 5 or 6 board members right now. Let's see.
I wonder if you
Forrest?
guys could. I wonder if you
I'm
guys
sorry?
could. I wonder if you guys could oversee our research and development sector, our nonprofit sector of the benefit corporation.
Yeah.
So that would be, again, through that ticket system. And we would want to be able to track everything going on and make sure that the funding and the resources are appropriately distributed for what the mission of the foundation is. That's the same as with any organization that we build an alliance with. You know, we want to make sure that we're building alliances with organizations and community service sectors and so forth that are actually putting the money where they say instead of to administrative fees and costs. And we do that through the ticket system.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a big part of the budget.
What, spending money the right way?
Yeah.
Yeah, administrative fees and costs and everything are something that you can't exactly get away from, and it's a huge part of the budget, especially on nonprofits. Yet, when we can focus the actual direction towards impact, the measure of impact that it's going to have, that can attract investors, and it's going to show a lot more in progress than those sitting on their laurels saying, hey, we gave out free flyers and stuff, you know.
We gave out
Right.
free food that we actually had donated.
We're focusing on awareness.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you, I think I really want to work with you guys and learn some more, but I think everything that you do should be driven towards profit, whether you're a nonprofit or not, because if it's not making money, you're not doing it the right way.
Right.
And the money that's made extra can go somewhere else. And there's a video I was trying to look at when you were talking, or trying to find, for Ubuntu.
Yep.
Mhm.
And anyways, there's a group in Canada that have gone and broke down all the economics of a community and how to capture that process. And if I can find that video, I'll send it to you. It's about
Okay.
an hour long.
Yeah.
I suggest you watch it and just let it soak in for a little bit, because what they do is they make a lot of money out of just making a simple switch in the way they do things. And he walks through that process, right? So I think you guys should really consider watching it.
Sure. Absolutely. We welcome all information, and it's not like we aren't trying to make a profit. And a lot of what we see that coming from is the merchandise.
Well, not just the merchandise, but the core focus, and it ties in with what you were just talking about for the R&D, is the research has to be structured in a way that actually works and shows a progress flow.
Okay, so that software, what I envision in this community is, as we take care of people's basic human needs, and we learn how to do that, we're tasking the research and development sector to take care of our most pressing issues. And so anybody that's going to our school real time will be addressing real time issues and have access to those resources, so we can quantify whether or not it's working. If I had what I wanted, COVID would be fucking cured. If I had what I wanted, stupidity would be cured, and AIDS too, you know? But it's just having that structure and that business in place that allows us to have those resources. And I want to see my platform filled with organizations just like you're talking about, to showcase their skill sets, their strengths, their talents, and their experiences in one location, so that liaisons can go back to different organizations and say, hey, this is how they're improving their environment. And then those subsequent actions will be improved externally outside of our organization, if that makes sense. But I really appreciate talking to you guys. We can do some more of this down the road. If you tell me, send me a link or some information as to what you're looking for, how much you want to spend, you know, whatever, and I can start digging around. And I may have a house that you can rent. And also, I think Miranda would be a good person to talk to as well. but just make
And
sure you
We
get
do
might she
have-
be available?
And we do have, I want before, yes, okay, answer his question and then I'm going to say.
What's the question?
When might Miranda be available?
You'll have to reach out to her. I don't talk to her anymore. She's a former partner, and
Yeah.
so anyways, but just reach out to her. She was trying to put together. She's got a property that I was going to buy. She's trying to put tiny homes on it right now, and she's trying to fill it with tech-based people.
Right.
So just reach out to her online and see, what she says. But if you do any business with Miranda, get it in writing before you do anything.
Okay, we can. that's kind of the way we operate. So part of that section in the funding page or the funding document, chapter 12 that I sent you the link to, talks about contracts and how there are contracted services that can be acquired working with Great Works Alliance and also
With others.
brokered through Great Works Alliance. And there is of course, processing fee, I guess you would call it, that Great Works Alliance would receive if brokering between two organizations for a big contract be like 10%, I believe is what our brokerage fee is right now.
Cool. Well, I'm down to support that. And one final thought would be, there's a couple of buildings for sale in Crestone.
Oh.
One is a hotel and the other one is a restaurant / hotel. So I was thinking, as a veteran, I only have to pay 7% down on a business loan. So part of the reason why I started the benefit corporation was to be able to utilize the system to benefit or whatever, but people would have to buy into it. I'm not spending my money to help other people anymore.
Right.
I don't do that. But it is my business is available to support, like maybe crowdfunding enough money to open and buy a building or something like that. I'd be down to support that. Because if you guys got the hotel, we would have a small section of Crestone full of smart people, right? And you could operate whatever you want. So maybe look at that and think about that, But I really want to focus on building a solution center or an informational kiosk, what you guys were talking about, a physical location. So anybody that would help with that software would be a great place to start, because then we could survey everybody and go to any community and offer something that will help them improve their situation and always make us money.
Yeah, would you please put a word out and an ear out for people well-versed in the software side, particularly GraphQL and Neo4j?
What was the last one?
Neo4j, that's NEO.
The
number 4. J for Justin. It's graphing software. And it's all open source.
Yeah, I may know a guy.
And Excel spreadsheets. Like, without specific knowledge in software design and stuff like that, any kind of coding, there's another group of people out there well versed in, spreadsheets. And that's a good starting point to get these things organized, to have that structure that we need to build off of to build out these different projects.
I agree. And, if we can marry this with another document that I have for the initial intake, my thing is about taking people in and making sure that they have the aptitude before I even extend any further time and energy. So
Right.
these spreadsheets and stuff, like, we should get together and talk some more about it. I'll ask a few people I know if they have time, but I really think it should all be started internally with us, and we go
Okay.
through and put in where we're at, what we got going on, so we can just use ourselves as a test case group.
Right.
Do you have a website for Critical Thinkers?
I do. It's pilotforpeace.world.
Put it in the chat.
Can you put it in the chat? What I wanted to ask you to do when we get off this call is visit greatworksalliance.com. We have a section for our allies that we are developing, and I would like to put Critical Thinkers on that list. And so I would like you to review and let me know how you would like your organization to show up on that page, okay?
Yeah, I'm down to do that. Is it greatworksalliance.com?
That's right.
And then where are you talking about?
So if you go down in the on the first page, past that starry sky and past the mission, there's a little section on the left side. At the bottom of that section is who are our allies.
Yeah, I don't see it, but it could be because my screen's too small. It's a yes. Answer is yes. I'm down. I'm down. I'm down to do whatever. Oh yeah, I see it. Who are our allies? Yeah, yeah.
Good. You got there before I did.
Yeah, no, I'm down. Absolutely.
Awesome. And so then let's schedule a follow-up meeting. Is Thursday a good day for you?
I've got today and tomorrow off, and then life picks back up, so I can't really answer that.
You want to pick it up again a little bit later today?
Yeah, that'd work
Okay.
out good. Maybe
Okay.
after dinner or something, you know.
All right. It's approaching 1:30 p.m. our time. So
Okay.
around when?
How's 7 sound?
So that would be 6 our time. Or
Yeah.
would it be 5?
Does that give you time to eat? I don't know what your schedule is, you know.
We're open today.
We're open. I'm just looking at the time difference, and I forget if it's 1 or 2 hours between California and Colorado.
Just one.
Just one? Okay, so
Yeah.
it would be 6 our time, 6 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
7
Yeah.
yours, 6 p.m. ours.
Sweet.
All right. Great
See you
talking
guys
with
tonight.
you, Brandon. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you guys for what you're doing.
We'll talk to you soon.